This odd-looking thing is a CAT scan of the human brain, and it's where our story starts. Take a good look at it. Now, you and I are no brain surgeons, but even we can see there's something wrong here. That white blob that looks like a piece of cauliflower, that's a brain tumor. And brain tumors suck. This is my brother Greg. He had a brain tumor. And overnight, my hero went from looking like this to this. Now, he'd recovered, but he was never the same. And eventually his brain tumor came back. And on July 9th, 1984, my hero died. Greg's death was tragic, and it was sad. But it got worse. This is my sister Carolyn. She had a brain tumor. Carolyn was a beautiful mother of 3 in the prime of her life when she got sick. And 10 short months later, on July 9th, 2004, Carolyn was gone. Now, in case you think you heard that wrong, July 9th, 1984, July 9th, 2004, that's exactly how it happened. 20 years to the day, same tumor, same ending. Okay, let's stop right here because I don't want you to get the wrong idea. This is not a film about sadness and death. It's a film about hope. So in actuality, this is where our story starts. A couple years back, I decided I wanted to join the fight against brain tumors. So I made a little film called No Next. I wanted to show people just how devastating this disease is. And with a little luck, maybe I could open hearts, open minds, and more importantly, open wallets. Because as I came to find out, brain tumor research is critically underfunded. I was determined to put No Next in the hands of anyone who wanted to use it in their efforts to fight this horrible disease. I sent it to brain tumor awareness groups and foundations, to clinics and hospitals, and as fate would have it, one of the places I sent No Next was the Preston Tisch Brain Tumor Center at Duke University. You see, towards the end of Carolyn's illness, we knew we were going to lose her. But not wanting to leave any stone unturned, we followed some friends' advice and contacted Dr. Henry Friedman at Duke. It didn't take long for Dr. Friedman to see that Carolyn's tumor had gotten the better of her. And even though he was confirming our worst fear, that we were going to lose Carolyn, I got the sense that as long as she wanted to fight, the doctors at Duke would be there with her. They would never quit. That stayed with me. The willingness to fight, the refusal to give up, long after Carolyn's death. That stayed with me. So you can imagine how thrilled I was when one day my phone rang, and it was Ellen Steinbeck from the Preston Tisch Brain Tumor Center, calling to invite me down to Duke to present my film to the Brain Tumor Center's advisory board at their annual spring meeting. I was humbled and I was honored, but I also knew I was given a tremendous opportunity. I wanted to meet Dr. Henry Friedman, Dr. Alan Friedman, Dr. Daryl Bigner, and members of the staff at the Preston Tisch Brain Tumor Center. I wanted to see if my feelings about this place were justified, and if so, what is it that sets it apart? And I wanted to see how close they were to the ultimate goal of No Next. No next brother or sister or son or daughter or mother or father or aunt or uncle, no next victim to this horrible disease. I only had 48 hours at Duke, not much time, but I was hoping to find answers. What's going on?
We found Duke.
I called up Dr. Henry Friedman, and he called me back.
Saturday morning, like 7 a.m. And he came up to here to see Dr. Henry Friedman, which is amazing, amazing man. And
we met with Henry, like everybody does meets with Henry, and he took a piece of paper and he wrote out in boxes each type of therapy, and then he systematically went through and crossed them out one by one. This is not for you because, this is not for you because, this is what I think is for you. And
Dr. Friedman could not have been more informative and more loving and caring towards my family, and I so much appreciate what they've done.
Hi, I'm Dr. Henry Friedman. I am the James B. Powell Professor of Neuro-Oncology and the co-deputy director of the Preston Tisch Brain Tumor Center at Duke. There's no question that brain tumors are a challenging problem, but they're also orphan diseases, meaning that there are far more patients with lung cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer, colon cancer than patients with brain tumors. There's only 40,000 Americans diagnosed each year with a primary brain tumor, and half of them are malignant. So with those numbers, there's not a lot of attention from the funding organizations that are out there to provide resources to try and make progress.
I get that. The more people affected by a certain disease, the more attention the government pays to it, which means more money for research. Well, brain tumors don't even rank in the top 10 for cancers, so funding for brain tumor research is extremely hard to come by. And that leads to the topic of progress, which is kind of a sore subject for me and my family. You see, when Greg died in 1984, the 5-year survival rate for his type of tumor, glioblastoma multiforme, was less than 2%. 20 years later, when Carolyn died, the 5-year survival rate was less than 2%. That I don't get. I don't understand how survival rates for one of the deadliest forms of cancer could go unchanged for 20 years, but I intended to find out what, if anything, had been done in the 5 years since Carolyn died to change that number. And if research will lead to a cure, and money drives the research, who at Duke was taking up this cause? The spring meeting was my introduction to Duke, and if it was answers I was hoping for, I knew right away I had come to the right place. When the Brain Tumor Center's advisory board meets each April, it's a reunion of sorts, a coming together of people with a common experience, a common bond, and a common goal. Most have gone through the battle against a brain tumor, either themselves or by the side of a loved one, and they come to Duke with a singular purpose, and that's to help the doctors find a cure. The gathering is bittersweet, because although the group continues to grow, it's always for the wrong reason. But the meeting provides the members an opportunity to reflect, remember, and honor the friends and loved ones lost to this awful disease.
My name's Preston, and it's just hard to lose your wife. I wish I could be more hopeful and everything. It's very painful to lose your wife to a tumor, and there's just nothing easy about it. And the one thing about Kristen is she felt very strongly about her treatment here, and she had hope for the future for future patients.
I'm Patrick Wright, and my wife Holly. My daughter Kate was diagnosed with mesothelioma in May 17th of 2006, and she passed away.
My brother was a patient here. They saved him from a local community hospital in Florida without doing, he wouldn't have made it as long as he made it. This best, both emotionally and mentally, of helping people along the way. And I can tell you from first-hand experience, we were introduced to Duke by some friends who are friendly with doctors, and I thought we were getting special treatment. I was disappointed later to find out they treat everybody specially.
As touching as these tributes were, I was hoping to hear a brain tumor story with a different ending, one I didn't already know. Well, what followed was a revelation.
Hi, my name is Susan Poster. I'm a patient here at the Brain Tumor Center. I was diagnosed on October 1st, 2006 with a GBM, and the first oncologist I went to in Georgia said, "What are you worried about? You're only going to live for 12 to 14 months." And that was over 2.5 years ago, thanks to the doctors and recent years here at Duke.
Keith is a 7-year survivor. He's one of your long-term survivors from an oligodendroglioma, and Duke saved our lives.
My name is Douglas Zollner, and I was diagnosed with meningioma, and I'm a 16-year survivor. And honestly, there's no place I'd rather be.
Hi everybody, I'm Dave Robinson. My wife Tony. I was in a grand mal seizure last March, a year ago March, out of nowhere, and woke up with some old guy holding my hand saying, sorry to inform you, you have a brain tumor. And I told them they must have the wrong guy because I never even had a headache. And so had a surgery in Des Moines and unsuccessful and was told I had a few months to live. Tony wouldn't take that answer and searched out and found Duke. And my tumor was removed and my tumor is completely gone. And I'm here raising money for a darn good cause with all of you.
These people weren't dying from their brain tumors. They were living and fighting and winning. After what we went through with Greg and Carolyn, that didn't seem possible. But I was starting to see exactly what made the Preston Robert Tisch Brain Tumor Center different. And it's right there in their motto. At Duke, there is hope.
I'm Darrell Bigner. I'm the professor of cancer research at Duke, and I'm the director of the Preston Robert Tisch Brain Tumor Center. I've been at Duke most of my career since 1963, except for my military time. Of course, the focus of everything I've done is to try to live up to our motto of At Duke, there's hope.
David Robinson, a little over a year after his diagnosis with a GBM, healthy and strong. Susan Poster, over 2.5 years after her diagnosis of a GBM. Keith Houston, living for 7 years with an ogliodendroglioma. And Douglas Zautner, battling multiple meningiomas for over 16 years. All with 3 things in common. They were treated at Duke, they're filled with hope, and they're alive. Their stories sparked hope within me, and the story of Major Kylie Weigel fanned the flames.
When we talk and say that at Duke there's hope, we don't mean at all that they're not excellent programs and physicians elsewhere in the country also. But I think what we really mean by that is that there's no reason to accept defeat. If you looked at an army with this and you told them that there's no use to go to battle, that you're going to lose, and you're going to be defeated and you're going to be wiped out, that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And it's the same way with every patient with a brain tumor. Yes, these are serious diseases, but there are things that we can do. And what we can do is offer a way to fight.
This war is not over. And I'm afraid it's just begun.
3 independent sources said, you need to see this guy named Dr. Henry Freeman at Duke University. He is a miracle worker. Boy, am I glad that they made the decision for me to get up to see you guys. I am truly blessed to be standing here today.
The flags they wave higher.
I'm happy to say that I've been therapy free since 2002. And so I got retained in the Air Force 15 months later, which was a blessing because I didn't think I was done with the Air Force. I became worldwide qualified in the spring of '07, largely in part to God, obviously, for blessing me, but also the great work that Freeman and his team has done. Okay. Thus, in spring of '08, I got my orders to Iraq, to Baghdad. So 7 months in Baghdad, which went over September. So unfortunately, I had to miss my appointment. Right. So let me just say that no amount of words, even as tired as I am, that I can say will let you know how much this brain tumor center has meant to my family, to me, to the Air Force. I have a daughter who was conceived ahead of time. I have a son whose birthday is today, who's 7 years old. I would not have lived to even see that birthday or even have him had it not been for you guys. And so
I'm blessed. I'm thoroughly blessed. And so August 19th was a significant day for me. That was my day of my craniotomy. And the 9th year anniversary of that was in Baghdad. And so we felt like that was significant enough to be able to do a little bit something. So where's Dr. Friedman?
Flag of the United States of America, presented to the Preston, Rubin, Tisch, Brain Tumor Center. Major Kylie Weigel, 9 years and counting.
This war is not over, and I just long to hold her.
9 years. I think about all that can happen in 9 years. And I think about how fortunate Major Kylie Weigel and his family are to have found Duke. There was so much information to take from the spring meeting. Advances in research and technology, breakthroughs in genetic mapping and drug therapies. All of it fascinating, all of it exciting. But to be quite honest, most of it went right over my head. What I did understand, because it was unmistakable and undeniable, was the living proof of hope at Duke. Hope for another day, another year. Who knows, maybe even hope for life. Later that evening, the Preston Robert Tisch Brain Tumor Center hosted a very special event, honoring the Board of Advisors, esteemed guests, and an extraordinary group of people whose value to the efforts and success of the Brain Tumor Center is unparalleled. The committee in charge of planning and executing Angels Among Us.
Angels Among Us is a walk that's been going on now for a number of years, and it is started as a grassroots effort and has really been maintained in that effort as a wonderful resource for our center.
Angels is the single biggest and most important fundraising effort that we have, and it's going to allow us to really ultimately conquer this disease.
In 1994, 2 Duke employees, Terry Rose and Carrie Harrison, both who had lost a loved one to a brain tumor, sat down and sketched out a plan for a 5K run to benefit the Brain Tumor Center. The original plan stated one condition: every penny raised would go directly to brain tumor research. The first race, held later that year, was called the Duke Forest 5K, and it raised $27,000 for the Brain Tumor Center. The event continued to grow year after year, and it's now known as the Angels Among Us 5K and Family Fun Walk, held each April on the Saturday following the spring meeting. On the agenda for the gathering Friday night was honoring the volunteers who worked tirelessly to make Angels Among Us happen. And the entertainment for the evening was David Bailey.
Hey, my name is David Bailey. I'm a patient here at Duke, and I have been for quite some time. The first time I came down was back in the summer of 1996. I was diagnosed with a glioblastoma and told by my local doctors in Virginia that I had 6 months and good luck, and that was it. I came down here immediately and began treatment immediately, and so began a journey. And first came the first-year anniversary. We had a big celebration. Then we hit the second-year anniversary. We had a big party. Then the third year, then the fourth year, and then the magic 5 years came by. And didn't stop. Then 6, then 7, then 10, and then 12. I was the walking miracle boy. Then at 12 and a half, so I'm in treatment now to fight this recurrence. And as Henry put it to me, we cured the first one, we'll cure this one, and I have no doubt that that will happen. So I am glad to be here. I am in the right place at the right time. And although treatment is no fun, this is the place for me to be. And I'm thrilled and honored to be a part of this night and this celebration.
Beneath their nails, Some wear boots, some wear suits, some are even in jail.
Angels Among Us, an incredible event each year. It's not just a fundraiser, it's not just another run. At Duke, it has become very much like a family reunion. And so the families and the survivors, the caregivers come together once a year essentially to remember those we've lost and to celebrate the progress that's been made and to celebrate those who are still alive, carrying on each new day. So for me, it's an important part to feel that I'm a part of that family, and also to do what I can to provide any kind of inspiration to those who are struggling. Because I remember the early days and what it was like, and feeling like no one makes it. Well, some do, and happily, more and more at Duke, a lot do.
God willing, we'll have one more day. Think of all the angels you are gonna meet.
So if I can play some small role in encouraging others, I'm happy to be here to do that. And it's always a thrill to be here and join the board and do a little bit of what I do.
So I never really worry about the weird people after shows anymore, because every single night I perform, I look out and the room is full of angels. That would be you, and I am grateful, more than I can say, especially tonight, especially this spring, these people right here.
David's songs that night were the most heartfelt expression of gratitude I had ever heard. And let's face it, he's got so much to be thankful for. After 24 hours at Duke, I had a good idea of what the Preston Robert Tisch Brain Tumor Center offered its patients and their families. But I had another 24 hours to go, and after all the talk Friday night about angels among us, I was excited to see what the next day would bring. Lucky for me, I didn't have to wait too long, because to get the full Angels Among Us experience, you gotta start awfully early.
I got troubles, Lord, but not today. 'Cause they're gonna wash away. They're gonna wash away.
I love the Angels Among Us event. I love the passion of the people. There's so many teams, so many members. I love the fact that people on that day are focusing on a problem that I have spent my entire academic career devoted to solving, that is better therapy for patients, children and adults with brain tumors, and so I enjoy the event immensely.
I'm Brian Simmons, and this is my wife, Betsy.
How many years have you guys been doing Angels?
Gosh.
This is our 8th year.
Because I was diagnosed in 2001. And did we start the next year?
Yeah.
The following year in 2002.
What was your diagnosis?
I had I can't even say.
Actually, he won't know what he had. That would be a grade 3.
She's the next nurse. She's my advocate. And
grade 3.
Anaplastic oligodendroglioma.
There you go.
I spit it out. There you go.
Do you want us to spell that for you?
Don't ask me how to spell it.
Yeah. Do you like our name? Head Cases. We actually have T-shirts for the first time.
Back.
Our son designed
Our son is entering the NC State School of Design.
Yeah, so we put him on a task this year.
Designer, so we put him to work.
What does Angels mean to you guys? What's the feeling you get from being here and
you know, just to see the event grow and to just hear stories, you know, of people like myself that are, you know, still here 7 years later. I mean, there was a time in 2001 where I didn't know how long I was going to be here. So, you know, you just take one day at a time, but to be able to come back and 8 years later and see some of the people that you saw, for me to be able to participate, you know, and so you really see how just how much Duke is doing to provide hope for people like me and the hundreds and thousands, you know, that come to this event that are diagnosed with this awful disease. That to see us still here when 15 years ago, 10 years ago, I mean, a lot of us wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for the treatments that we received at Duke.
But not today, 'cause we're gonna wash away.
When I think of teenage boys, and I thought for sure I'd be raising them by myself, and then just to have Brian here with me, I mean, it is amazing. You know, hope is for us in God, but ultimately God used Alan and Henry and all the awesome team members at Duke to just make Brian well. So anyway, yeah, it's an awesome, awesome day.
Not today, 'cause they're gonna wash away. That's all, but I'm gonna take them away.
He sent this check for $30 in. And he says, my wife Christina was a great athlete, but she did not enjoy watching sports on television very much. However, she would fill out a March Madness bracket every year and follow her picks. She enjoyed it a little, but I think she did it because I loved March Madness. He says the Savage family filled out their brackets this year, and I decided to fill out one for Christina. I tried to pick the team she would have picked. Christina won the pool. We were all rooting for her and were very excited when she won. We've decided to donate her winnings. Enclosed, please find a check made out to the Tisch Brain Tumor Center in the amount of $30. It was not big money pool, but I thought that the story might be appreciated. I believe that the people at Duke know a little about March Madness. Keep up the fight. Very truly yours, Jack Savage. Isn't that precious? Is that just not precious? Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I just thought that was so sweet. So we have got some of the most wonderful people in the world that come to Angels. It's amazing.
I've been involved with Angels Among Us since 2005. I've been fortunate enough to be part of the Angels Committee since 2006, and our volunteer committee is a wonderful group, and we essentially are charged with, along with a couple dedicated Duke employees, running a wonderful event once a year and doing some ongoing efforts throughout the year to raise money for the Brain Tumor Center.
The Angels Among Us is simply one of the most important things that we participate in. It's a truly marvelous source of funding that really provides the fuel for our overall laboratory and clinical research. Without the Angels Among Us, I don't know how we would be able to do the things we've done. I don't know how we would be able to continue to make progress at the same rate that we're clearly making progress.
Some of the things that the Angels income has allowed us to do is to acquire very expensive pieces of equipment, some of which cost as much as $500,000, to provide funding for new investigators that want to enter the field of brain tumor research, and especially to give us what we call seed money to establish all the preliminary data and information that's necessary to go to the major foundations and to the National Institutes of Health and obtain very large grants. Without the flexibility that the Angels funds provide to us, we couldn't do these things.
Each new team is a story, and if we think about it, we've all experienced a loss. We've all experienced a survivor in many of the great cases, and that's why we're all here. Well, each one of those new teams, there's a story related to that which is similar. So I think everyone comes here to look for not only the hope but also to look for the sharing that our event provides, and we want to make it as good as we possibly can.
Team.
In memory of Ross. Hi, I'm Andy McDaniel. We got involved in 1994 when our son Ross was still a patient at Duke, and he passed away in 1995. He was able to go to one of the walks, and then the next year and the next year and the next year we got involved in the planning committee.
And I'm Paula Green. I was Ross's kindergarten teacher, and I tell everybody he was first my student and then my friend, and I grew to love him very, very, very much. And even 15 years later, you know, his spirit and his sense of determination is what motivates us to keep this fight going, because we can't help him anymore, but we would be disloyal to his memory if we didn't continue to fight. And we know, we believe, all of us, that one day there will be a cure, and we'll be able to say, hey, we helped.
And you work on the committee.
Mm-hmm.
All of us do now.
Yeah. Paula Green was the first one. She was asked to be on the committee in 1995 when there was about 5 people on the committee.
Right. It was still pretty small. It hadn't grown to what it's grown today. I mean, we never, I don't think any one of us ever visualized that it would ever grow to what we have today. Do you think?
No. But we knew we had to get out of where we were. We were only raising money. The committee raised money from its friends, and we maxed out $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, and so we had to move into a different area, and so we started sending letters to patients and their families, and trying to make it more global. And we were successful with that. That's where we are now, through the letter campaign.
Do you recall the number of walkers, runners the first year?
Oh, probably maybe a couple hundred, wouldn't you think?
Yes.
Oh,
a couple hundred?
Yeah.
It seemed like 50 compared to today.
Nothing like it was today. Nothing.
How many do you think we had today?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
4,500 to 5,000 now on Saturday.
Yeah, man. What'd you watch there? What'd you watch there? 29:30? Did that shit match up with the... I made it. It's awesome. I saw another survivor out there in the course. I gave her a high five and she passed me. It was awesome.
There are always so many new teams who add new excitement to our event and bring not only new money, that's only part of it, but they bring a new excitement to the event, and they really contribute in a big way because they're new, honoring a loved one, either a memory of someone or a survivor, and it's really fun to watch. We've had in the last 2 years 70 new teams, and this year I believe 65 new teams, and the teams can range from 3 people to 100 people. So we never know quite what we're going to get on event day, but it's a wonderful, wonderful experience.
How long has your son been a patient?
Since 2007, since March of 2007. He was diagnosed with medulloblastoma, which is rare in adults. He was 27 when he was diagnosed.
It needed immediate surgery because it was, pressing on my spinal column, causing a great deal of pain. But they got the entire thing out, which was a miracle. 6 months ago, or something, I had a recurrence, and the cancer had metastasized to my femur, and it was in my blood, and had landed on my bones. And for that, I did chemotherapy. The chemo is terrible. Makes me sick as a dog. I'm tired all the time, and but I've been getting through fine. And really the main reason is I have the support of like the greatest family in the world.
This is our first year. We really wanted to get it together last year, but we just did not develop a team. So this is our first year of having a team.
Some friends of mine that are in a band put on a benefit last month, and three different bands. I'm friends with everybody that are in the different bands. We played at the Poorhouse in Raleigh, which is like a nice music venue. Packed the house, raised a ton of money. All of it went to the Tisch Center.
And it was phenomenal. And then we just went from there. And we're hoping with the matching money that we raised $25,000. That's our goal. It's been amazing. People have just given at a time where it's hard for everybody to give. But they really, really have supported the Brain Tumor Center. And the Tisch Center is a special place. It really is a special place.
The big question to us is always, this has been 14, 15 years out since he was sick, since he died. Why do we continue to be involved in this? And because there is no hope for us. He is gone. But our belief is that by what we're doing, we are giving hope to the next family that comes along that's in the same situation that we're in. And that at Duke, there is hope, and that we want to be part of that.
Who is this?
This is our daughter Lila.
Where did she get that band at?
Oh, she's a brain cancer survivor. About 5 months. She's about the nurse says she's the youngest survivor here. She was diagnosed when she was 3.5 months, and she's been in remission ever since December. So she went into remission in about, doing math here, 9 months. And just finished her stem cell transplant last month.
My doctors have all been great, and everybody involved has been, I mean, fantastic. So, I mean, I believe that hope is alive in general and especially at Duke.
It's not only about the medicine. They treat whole body, mind, and soul, and it affects the families as well. And they are truly concerned about that.
In fighting the disease, rather than lying down and just letting it roll over you, is not a way to live and a way to approach something of this magnitude. So we have our staff approach this as a team, and the patients and their families are a big part of that team.
Okay, my name's Elaine Martell. I'm a nurse clinician here at the Brain Tumor Center.
Okay.
My responsibilities include guiding my many patients through their therapy and then supporting them when they graduate and come off therapy. I sort of serve as their constant and their navigator guide through their treatment and beyond.
Sinead Bliven, nurse clinician in the Preston Robert Tisch Brain Tumor Center at Duke. I think the Angels Walk is very important because it gives us a lot of support, financial and emotional support, and I think it's really helpful for the staff to see the families, the patients and the families, and to be, out there and just supporting them at this special time when they come back.
The most rewarding part of the job is the friendships, the deep friendships I'm able to form with people. I'm with my families, and it's really a family affair. I'm with my families from diagnosis until death, essentially, the whole spectrum, and we become I learn a lot from my families, I should put it that way. That's probably the most valuable part. It can be very sad, but the perspective you have to work in oncology is that you didn't make these people sick, you didn't give them their disease, you're helping them cope with it.
Do your patients look forward to the walk every year?
I think they do. It's a good time. It's almost like a reunion that they can come here, see staff doctors, other families, other patients, and I think they gain a lot of emotional support from just being around other patients and their families, and then the staff, the doctors and nurses. What I gain from it is the satisfaction of helping patients and their families during this very rough time, because they're going through so much, and I think, it really helps us to see when they come back for the walk how well they've done and how they keep going. They're very strong group.
There's a good feeling when you come to the walk. It's not just raising money. It is a family feeling.
Right.
It's always been, we've always tried to portray a family-oriented type walk where you can come and relax and have a good time. And I think it helps people. It helps them a lot.
We just have an extraordinarily joyful time in being able to work with the people in the walk, see our patients, both past and present, see our families of patients. If patients are no longer with us, it just kindles our passion to continue our efforts and be that much more successful.
Tell me your name.
My name is Jennifer.
How you doing?
Living, breathing, walking, talking. Got a beautiful day with my kids and my friends and family. I've had us really fabulous.
The motto here at Duke is, "At Duke there's hope." How do you feel about that? Do you buy that?
I know there is.
Why do you know that?
Let's see. I came in here with a brain tumor. I ain't got one no more. At least that's what my last MRI told me. What more could you want in life?
It's like a carnival. I mean, there's just tons of people here, and it's just for such a good cause, and I'm just really happy to be a part of it.
This is my second year coming here. Last year we had a whole lot of people here. We had a great time. It seems like there's a lot more people this year, and we're just looking to have a great day.
I'm Karen. I have a tumor in my brain, and ever since the first x-ray or anything, I thought it looked like a booger. So I named these shirts and our team the Booger Busters, because I have busted my booger and am doing fine, doing very well. So that's my story.
There is hope at Duke. They have the programs, they have the experience, they have the staff, and they're just the best in this field.
We don't give up hope, because even in the face of the odds that we all have with a disease like this, we have seen successes, and we're building on those successes and imparting them to more and more patients.
This is Tony McCachran, a world-class athlete who at one point in his life competed in grueling adventure races across the globe. 6 years ago, while riding his bicycle, Tony had a seizure, and it was later determined he had an anaplastic astrocytoma. His prognosis wasn't good, but he chose Duke for his treatments, and it's made all the difference in his life. 6 years later, Tony is living healthy and strong. Unfortunately, brain cancer took 95% of his peripheral vision, making adventure racing a part of his past. But brain cancer couldn't take his determination or his competitive spirit. Tony chose Angels Among Us as the start of his next great adventure, his walk of life.
I'm here like all of us, so appreciative and thankful for what all these folks have done for us. And I feel so obligated to give back. I came here 6 years ago, and today, after Angels, I'm going to walk home without a disease. From Sarasota, Florida, so I'm going to be walking from Durham through to Sarasota, 750 miles. Hopefully 20 miles a day, as long as the weather holds up, and so do my feet. All right, guys, thank you.
Tony McCachran began his walk of life at Angels Among Us, surrounded by fellow brain cancer survivors. From Durham, North Carolina to Sarasota, Florida, 750 miles in 35 days. An enormous undertaking for any of us, but for a brain cancer survivor, it's nothing short of heroic. Tony chose to start his walk of life at Angels Among Us for one simple reason.
It starts here at Angels Among Us because this is where I had all my treatment, and these guys saved my life.
Good luck, Tony. The motto here at Duke, there's hope.
Mm-hmm.
How do you stay hopeful?
Oh, I have so many reasons to be hopeful. I've been here almost 7 years, and the amount of progress that we've made in treatment of glioblastoma since then has just been astounding. Especially, it seems to be picking up speed in the last couple of 3-4 years. I have more and more patients that are defying the odds. I just had a patient with GBM, a female who had a baby, and she's 7 years from diagnosis, I believe. She'll be at the Angel Walk on Saturday with her baby, which is really exciting. So there are hopeful things every day.
Every single time I come out to Duke, I'm just amazed and blown away by how much these people have impacted my life. Every single person who I've ever met at the Brain Tumor Center, the words, I can't even come up with all the words that can describe how it makes us as the patients feel. You are all special, special people, and I just want to say a big thank you to everything you do, each and every one of you. And one last thing, I need to introduce Miss Abigail Hope.
You see, this isn't a film about sadness and death. This is a film about hope. At Duke, there is hope, and it's alive. It's alive in this mom and her little girl. It's alive in the patients and the families that I met over the course of this weekend. It's alive in the doctors and the staff at the Preston Tisch Brain Tumor Center, who dedicate their lives to fighting this horrible disease and finding a cure. It's alive in the thousands of people who come to Duke for one Saturday each April, friends and loved ones, united in a show of generosity, compassion, and love. And it's alive in the survivors, living each day as an inspiration to anyone with a brain tumor, that there is a way, there is a chance. I came to Duke hoping to find answers, but what I found is the answers lie in hope.
My name is Peggy Johnson. I found out I had a brain tumor when I couldn't write my name. I thought I had the flu and went to sign at my doctor's office. And I've been a teacher for 33 years, and before that I was in the publishing industry. And you can imagine the shock. And then I came, and Dr. Friedman removed the rock from my head. And 24 hours later I could sign my name. And it's a walk back that's awesome. Awesome. Beautiful day. At Duke, there's hope. At Duke, there's hope.
Tell me your name.
Ryan Fig.
3 years survivor.
3 years.
All over the United States where my
tell
family,
everybody
they all
about
had.
Duke and
tell
the
them all.
Brain Tumor Center. We tell them how good it is and how caring they are. Primary concern is to heal the person that is ill, and so far we've had great success with Ryan. We look at him as being as a miracle. 3 years ago we weren't sure what was going to happen, and today he has no side effects. He's walking, talking, breathing, and enjoying his life. We're grateful for being here at Duke, for the cure that they've given him.
At Duke, there is hope.
Inspired me truly, it did from the start to not be afraid and to follow my heart. There's a piece of you with me there.
Yes, and the numbers are in. So we're going to start with a coveted award, the Newcomers Award.
That's for the new team that produces the largest revenue in their first year in the event, and Dr. Reardon will be announcing this award.
It's kind of like a double-edged sword. New teams mean somebody else is fighting this battle. But at the same time, those new teams are bringing in lots of research money, which we hope will one day find an answer. I'm just sure we will. I feel certain we will. And I want to be right up in front.
Me too. We made a difference.
We made a difference, right?
Thank you, Ron. This is always an honor to highlight these particularly hardworking groups of people. And this year, our newcomer award goes to Tony's Miracle Angels, $100,000.
We really take our hats off to all of them because it takes effort. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of belief in what you're doing.
How'd your team do this year?
8.
No, seven. $27,000.
15 years later.
We know that with the continued support of those folks involved in Angels Among Us, we will be able to make progress and come to a day where no one need die of a brain tumor, and the quality of life is just simply marvelous for everybody so affected. We're not there yet. We've got a long way to go, but we're chipping away at the problem, and Angels Among Us is truly one of the major pillars of our whole effort to be successful.
Mary, Ellen, I'll read the total if you like. $1,400,511.
What role do you think Angels Among Us plays in keeping that motto fresh?
A critical role, and your question's a good one. We are more, I call it the grassroots, and I call it the people who form the teams and are the families who participate, and we are the nickel dime, if you will, and the nickel dime happens to add up to over $1 million a year. So our money's very important. It's discretionary. We spend no money to make the money. We're a volunteer group, and it's really fun to be able to say that everything we raise goes directly to research or compassionate care.
I'm especially encouraged now, more so than in the 35 years I've worked on this disease, that we're going to make enormous strides within the next 5 to 10 years. The technology to fight the disease gets better every year. The number of agents and things that we have to use gets better. Our ability to tell which ones to use that are going to work and which ones that are not likely to work gets better. And this is the basis for a realistic hope.
At Duke there is hope. At Duke there is hope.
At Duke there is hope.
At Duke there's hope.
At Duke there is 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 hope. At Duke there is cure.
I have hope. Someday. Someday.
Tony McAkern led his troop of 300 well-wishers to his final destination Saturday, completing an 803-mile walk in 43 days.
Tony McAkern is doing something many people would call insane. It's day 42, the second to last day of his 750-mile walk from Duke University in North Carolina to Village Bikes, his shop in Sarasota. Tony found out something was very wrong during a bicycle ride from Longboat Key in 2002. Doctors found a tumor in his brain the size of his fist. He's had 5 surgeries and spent 5 years in chemotherapy at Duke University, where he says research doctors saved his life.
I want to give back to them, hopefully raise more money in the meantime, allowing them to do for others what they've done to me.
Physically, his treatment has changed him. He is capable of cycling the round, but walking is safer.
I have absolutely no left peripheral vision. Like I can see anything over here, and I cannot see my finger.
Family and friends form groups of support to be his eyes. He's burned through 5 pairs of shoes, walking a blistering 20 miles a day, and accepting donations along the way. It seems a bit extreme, weathering storms, rocky terrain, and physical fatigue. But this is a man with a mission.
McAkern arrived right on schedule at the Village Bicycle Shop on South Osprey Avenue in Sarasota at 5. McAkern arrived at the finish line with his wife in tears after his long trek to fight cancer. He says he finished the marathon not just for himself.
I wasn't expecting this much support. It's extremely cool. You know what though? That's why I did it. It's not just for me, but for other people too.